What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. It's another episode of JohnnyVTV Live. Twice in 1 week, twice in 3 days. Your Honor, no objections. Let's go. We're back with the full crew. Got a great guest today. We're about to bring him out very shortly. But first, how are we doing today, Nick? How are we doing, Kyle?
Listen, I'm doing good. I'm surprised you could tolerate another hour of Kyle on your week, based on what we've seen in the past. But listen, I'm in a pizza eating contest tomorrow night at 7 p.m. in Staten Island, so preparing for that. Excited for that. So good time right now on the sports calendar, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut so that way Johnny tolerates me for the next hour. All right, Nick?
I love it, dude, because you know what, man? We got a great guest coming out. We got Chris Ostrow of the Optimal Take. Let's bring him out, man. We're talking some little loose ends of fantasy football, as well as looking forward to week 1 matchups. Let's bring him out. Chris, thanks for coming on, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it. What's going on, Johnny? What's up, Kyle? What's up, Nick?
How we doing, sir?
Doing great, man. Can't wait for next week to kick off football. It's been a long week, but short at the same time. August is really flown by here.
Let me ask you, how many drafts have you done?
Too many to count. At least 10. But I've been doing a lot of best ball throughout the offseason, and I started preparing for week 1 DFS along with some other takes. So at least 15. I've been helping some people with their drafts. I'm not going to shout them out because I don't want to expose them to their friends, but I'm prepared to go.
How many leagues are you in yourself?
Home leagues. Right now I'm in 6, but like I said, I help a lot of people out. They ask for advice on the Optimal Take, and I help them with their drafts. But season long, I'm interested in it, but I'm more focused on DFS and props and things of that nature. But I do it with my friends, not to sound braggadocious or anything like that.
Nah, it's all good, man. All right, so let's kick it off here. Chris, I'm going to start with you. Mm-hmm. Who are your QBs to target this year? Is it worth spending an early to mid-round pick on a QB? What do you think?
I think the optimal strategy this year is to wait on a quarterback. Someone that I've been really targeting a lot is Trey Lance and Justin Fields, and pair them with a quarterback that has an early season week schedule. Someone like Jalen Hurts, Tom Brady, Sam Darnold. I know that's ugly. Tannehill, or something along those lines. If you have an early pick, let's say you get CMC of 1, I wouldn't mind taking Mahomes and stacking him on the way back, or Josh Allen or someone of that nature. But this is a good year to wait on a quarterback and build around your other positions.
Hey, real quick here, you wouldn't take a flyer maybe on like a Russell Wilson in the 7th if he falls to you there?
Oh, for sure, definitely. And the reason is, I would take Russ Wilson, but still take a guy like Justin Fields or Trey Lance later because you have that security. He hasn't been in the starter yet, but his schedule is ridiculous. And once he gets in, it's going to be game over. I don't mind that tier with Russell or Justin Herbert at all.
It's interesting you say that. So, I mean, especially looking how the drafts are, Justin Fields and Trey Lance are 2 guys that could really light it up in fantasy, especially at the back half if they indeed get under center. Like, you know, there's possible discussions, rumors that maybe the Niners end up releasing Jimmy Garoppolo, even though I don't see it for at least a while. But, you know, Trey Lance has shown that he's going to be a guy that might be a fantasy savage, you know, at the end of the year, middle of the year, if he gets a start. Fields, I think it's a matter of time. Andy Dalton, like, he just, at this point in his career, man, he's a backup at best. And he is a guy that is always prone to just, he can't get out of his own way. So I think Fields, the time is coming, and I'm very excited for that. Trevor Lawrence, Joe Burrow, those guys, I agree with you there. You know, take like even a Stafford, a Jalen Hurts, like Tannehill. Some of these guys you could probably get more towards like the 9th round.
And Stafford fell to 10th in my league.
Yeah, so, you know, Stafford, people are still – listen, Chris, these guys could tell you I'm in on Stafford this year. I think he's going to cut throats. Like, I think he's going to be the MVP this year or put up MVP numbers because, I mean, he's always been undervalued, but now he's playing on the best team he's ever had. He's not missing really anything. He's got great play calling. So I am in on it. The only way I would probably say no is – I mean, if like a Patrick Mahomes fell to you in the 4th, that's the only way I would consider it. If Mahomes is there in the early to mid 4th, and you haven't done it, like, you know what, man, just take a shot. Why not? Like Mahomes.
Oh yeah, but he's not going to be there. Somebody,
He won't be
somebody's taking him
in a
in the
home
second
league.
or third.
Probably
The-
not, but you never know.
I was just going to point out also, if you look at quarterbacks, quarterback 1 last year, Josh Allen, compared to quarterback 9, was only a minute difference in their points per game. You get a bigger advantage by taking a tight end early, just because of the positional scarcity. Obviously, you got to know the league settings of your league, if it's double quarterback or if it's 6 points per touchdown. A lot of people, they don't even know their rules. It's simple math, 10 yards rushing touchdown. And that's why I'm really focused on Fields and Lance while getting a secure starter with an easy early schedule. Trey Lance finishes with the Atlanta Falcons, Tennessee Titans, and the Houston Texans in your championship. So I don't mind pairing him at all with one of the guys that you mentioned.
The Titans defense is going to be improved just a smidge though this year, I think.
Yeah, okay.
As far as quarterbacks,
reports are Caleb Farley is going to be healthy. So as long as he's healthy, he's a top 10 talent in that draft class.
as far as
I mean, he's
quarterbacks
looked good in the
go,
preseason, Farley. But we don't mind good defenses. It could involve a shootout. That's what you want in DFS and fantasy football, high pace of play games.
Chris, where are you taking your guy Jameis Winston?
I'm very down on New Orleans this year. I'm sorry. I wouldn't take him, but he's a good late round flyer if you wanted to get somebody like that. I'm just a little nervous with New Orleans, and I have Kamara in a keeper league. They're going to be on the road, unfortunately, due to the hurricane. Their first 8 games, I think they were supposed to play 2 at home, and now they're going to be in Jacksonville. So it's a little bit of a scary situation. I'm kind of off of New Orleans this year.
I think, especially depending on your league, he's still got to throw interceptions, so I would be scared of him. The quarterback I want is Kyle Murray. Guy was hurt last year, sold the second most fantasy points. I think if you're going to take anybody early, it should be him.
Come on, really? Over Mahomes? If they're going in the same, like, okay, if Mahomes is going, third, and
depends on your league setting with how many yards you get per rush.
I would, in that instance, Johnny, to answer your question, I would rather go with Mahomes just because simply Mahomes is going to have a lot easier defenses to face versus what Kyler Murray's going to have to face in Seattle and the Rams and so on.
What do you guys
think?
think?
Kyler Murray, he just looks like a little rugrat running around out there. You got Patrick Mahomes. He looks like a brain surgeon, just absolutely Picasso with a football, Mr. Patrick Mahomes.
If you guys are going early quarterback, any love for Dak Prescott or Josh Allen? No good.
I got love for Josh Allen. Dak worries me with the ankle a little bit. I mean, before that, obviously he's had no injury problems, but obviously it's going to be something to monitor. But you
got to go Tom Brady or Dak.
I would think about it, but you know what? I would still probably want to take Dak in that situation simply because with the struggles of Ezekiel Elliott, you could see some goal line touchdowns there. I'm on some naked boots. Maybe. I wouldn't say that it's a definite, but with his athleticism, Dak can definitely do it.
I got to be honest.
I like the Brady pick.
I don't want Prescott. I don't want Prescott.
I don't hate the Brady pick. I don't hate that either.
I think the injury is no good. Like that was a very bad injury, and we don't really know how he recovered. Like we need to see him in action. Like mobility is a huge part of Dak Prescott's game. Even if he's not running, they get him on the move. And I got to be honest, man. Everybody was like creaming over their numbers last year. Like, bro, the only reason he was putting up the numbers he was because he was averaging 50 attempts per game because they were playing down from 21 points in just about every game at some point last year. I mean, that's not going to be reasonable, most likely. As bad as Dan Quinn was at times for the Falcons head coach, he's still a defensive-minded head coach. I don't think Dallas's defense, even with their additions, is going to be that good, but I don't think they're going to be as bad as they were. Let's not forget, Dallas's defense a few years ago, we were talking about them as like one of the better defenses in real life and in real football. So I think that they're probably going to get back to somewhere around middle, maybe, closer to 20th overall, which obviously is not great, but I don't know if they're going to be playing from behind as much. And not to mention, if they're going to try and include Ezekiel Elliott back to being the focal point, which is what they need to do, then I don't see Prescott lighting up the world. And yes, he's capable of putting up big games, clearly. But you could get a Tom Brady 4 rounds later. So why wouldn't I? If I could get Brady in the 8th round as opposed to taking Prescott in the 4th or maybe the 5th, like what's preventing me from doing that?
If you're looking for garbage time points this year, then look late, take Jared Goff, take Zach Wilson, because they're going to be playing from behind a lot. They'll be airing it out big time in the 4th quarter, I think.
One point I wanted to make about Dak is he just signed that huge contract. So going back to your point, Johnny, about rushing, I don't know if they're going to be running him in the red zone as often, especially with Ezekiel Elliott with his huge contract. Jerry Jones is not going to want to look stupid. He's going to try to get his stats to look good. My gross quarterback this year is Sam Darnold. They play against the Jets, the Saints, the Texans, and Dallas to open up. I know nobody wants to do it, but you're tied to CMC. Terrace Marshall's look pretty good. DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson. It's interesting.
DJ Moore should have a bigger year this year, definitely, due to Sam being there.
I mean, Darnold's an okay streamer at times. Just you need to see how he is in the offense. I mean, obviously Teddy Bridgewater was playing pretty well in Matt Rule's system. I got to give it to Rule. He really had the Carolina Panthers looking like a solid, formidable opponent, especially without Christian McCaffrey for pretty much the whole season. So definitely give him credit. I think Darnold is going to take a step forward this year. I don't know if I would bank my even QB2 on him, but he's a guy in a pinch I would put in a flyer in a good matchup. I got to see how he is this first week against the Jets. I have a feeling, this could be one of the higher scoring games of the week, and it's very underrated. Right now it's a 44.5 point total. That might go way over. Everybody might be getting a favor and a favorable line with that. But honestly, I gotta say, like, let's not forget about Old Faithful. Matt Ryan is being so undervalued. Sometimes he's not even being drafted. I quite don't understand it. Yes, the splits without Julio last year were noticeable, but that's because their offense was built to have Julio Jones in it. They had no running game. They had a terrible line. I mean, what do you expect to happen now without Julio? You bring Kyle Pitts in, not that he's going to be the same player per se, but they're in a completely new system. And people forget Matt Ryan is coming off 10 straight 4,000-yard seasons. The guy is reliable. When he gets a clean pocket, he can pick you apart. Now he's got a running game, and chances are he's still going to probably be playing from behind a lot. So, listen, he's not going to be matchup proof, but there's going to be a lot of weeks where Ryan could come in and give you 25, 30 points. I mean, let's not forget about Matt Ryan. Guys, you know how my feeling is. He's one of the most disrespected quarterbacks in an entire generation. He goes up with like Phillip Rivers. He is so disrespected.
I agree, and that's a great guy to stack with Fields at Lance. A guy like Ryan around that turn. He's not going to get benched. That's all we need is a bridge to get us to the midpoint of the season. Yeah, for sure, man. I mean, I completely agree. And, Ryan doesn't have a terrible schedule early on. And, I think he could put up some numbers early, especially. So, That being said, Chris, what are some stacks you're looking at? Quarterback, receiver, quarterback, tight end. Who are you looking at? Who's the most, I would say, valuable? Not lucrative, because if you got Hill in the first round, then you turn around, you got Mahomes in the second or even late third. Like obviously that's huge, but a lot of times people aren't going to do that. Who are you feeling? Right. I have a couple of them, but I'll start off with my favorite one. I really like Javonte Williams with the Denver Broncos defense. They open up against the Giants. They're on the road. Then they play the Jaguars and the Jets. They have a really easy schedule this year. I think it's somewhat to target. You could even add in Jerry G in there. While Bridgewater isn't, the best fantasy quarterback, he won't have turnovers. Judy struggled with drops last year. And Denver in September at home, since 2001, they're 22-4. They have a dominant home field advantage. I expect them to take a huge leap this year with Bridgewater. He's like your guy, Matt Ryan. He's not really a sexy pick or anything like that. I also, in addition to Trey Lance, really like the San Francisco running game. So I'm targeting Sermon and Mostert together, even on the same team, which I know probably isn't popular, but if you have double flex or one flex, it's a really good option. I have some other names too, but what are some of your guys' favorite stacks this year?
What are you thinking, Nick?
I'm not thinking much because I don't really. I mean, some people play the stack game. I don't. I just go for whatever I think's best. So let's see what Kyle has to say.
I tend to go with Nick there. I just want to kind of like let the board, talk to me, and I'll see what's there and take what's best available, most likely. But I mean, hell, if I could target it, I mean, obviously Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams are going to go at the number one on that list, at least for me. That's just me, talking. That doesn't mean I'm right. But one that I would say would be like kind of sneaky would be if you could do, like, say you get Ryan Tannehill maybe in like the 11th or 12th round, whatever the hell it is, wherever he's going. What's the average draft position? Around there, maybe 10th round, something like that?
Yeah, 10th, 11th.
Okay, so I would say if you could get like Julio and stack, or AJ Brown and stack him with Ryan.
Of course.
Good. Tannehill was like a top 7 fantasy player last year, so people.
I mean, he's not it's not a terrible play to take Tannehill, and I don't want to be, waxing poetic for my own guy here, but I mean, the numbers don't lie.
I mean, at the same time here, so yeah, Rodgers Adams would have been mine because Rodgers was falling a little bit to the 6th, maybe even the 7th round. I mean, listen, we could talk about if you got Metcalf or Lock and you're going to go Wilson, or you got D-Hop and you're going to go Kyler Murray, or you got Diggs, you're going to go Allen, or you got Lamb and you're going to go Prescott, or you got Keen Daddy and you're going to go Herbert. But like, chances are those are all receivers that are being taken within the first 3 rounds, and those quarterbacks are going to have to take somewhere between rounds 4 and 5, most likely, maybe 6 if you're lucky. But I would say, in terms of a valuable stack, like a value stack, pure value, I'm looking at the Steelers, man. Look at if you got a Chase Claypool who you can get in the 7th round and get like a Ben Roethlisberger as a guy, you're not going to start him every week, but there's going to be those favorable matchups where you're going to want to look at Big Ben because he still had 33 touchdowns and 10 picks last year. He had a very successful TD to interception ratio. And on the weeks where you want to start him, who, by the way, Big Ben is going very late. He might not even be drafted in some weeks. Exactly. He's free. So if you took a flyer on Big Ben as your QB2 in like round 14, round 15, and you had Claypool in the 7th, that's a stack that's almost going to cost you nothing. And that could put up some good points because I think Chase Claypool is going to be a dog this year. And Big Ben, like, why not? I mean, do we see Big Ben really falling off? I mean, he's on his last legs for sure, and the offensive line is new, but for the price you're paying, it's worth a shot because you're not really giving up much.
I'm just wondering if the arm strength is there for me when it comes to Ben Roethlisberger, especially coming off the elbow. I mean, he just didn't look all that good this past year without, AB at the helm. That was just me. He just looked like he definitely took a step back as far as I was concerned.
I mean, he's getting old, but he still put up 33 tutties.
I just wanted to say with Big Ben also, the average draft position of the guys that you mentioned, like a Claypool or Najee Harris, Deontay Johnson, or Juju, it doesn't make sense for them to all succeed and be drafted where they're drafted. How is Big Ben a last round pick? I don't have much Big Ben, but to your point, something's wrong there. It doesn't add up, in my opinion.
If I had to go something a little bit more off skew than that, or not as off skew, but something that people aren't talking about as much, I think the Robert Woods, Matthew Stafford stack is going to be one of the most valuable of any quarterback receiver combo. Like I've been saying it, I told you guys, I think Stafford is close to 5,000 yards, 40 touchdowns this year. Robert Woods has never been a big touchdown scorer. He's pretty much a slot guy. Now with Stafford being there, he's probably going to do a few different things. But don't forget, Bobby Trees averages about 90 catches and 1,100 yards over the last few seasons. He is an unsung hero as a wide receiver in the NFL. Yes, Kyle.
So Robert Woods and DJ Moore, you got them on your roster because you got Terry McLaurin and Tyreek Hill as your 1 and 2. Who are you putting in your flex there for week 1? Robert Woods is going against Chicago, and then you got DJ Moore going against the Jets.
Wait, I'm sorry.
Go with Robert Woods. The Bears have a little bit of a struggle in their secondary, especially in the slot position. Their number 1 cornerback is pretty good, but they lost Fuller. And the problem with DJ Moore is, even though I agree with Johnny, I like that game a lot to go over. I got it at 43 before it got steamed up to 44.5. they just don't score touchdowns. I had DJ Moore last year in a keeper league, and it was very frustrating. He hasn't had more than 4 touchdowns in a season. Very talented player, gets a lot of yards, but he just doesn't score. And I think I agree with Johnny. Robert Woods, he does those jet sweeps. There's so many different ways and deeper targets downfield now with McVay. He's going to have a big week.
Johnny's all in on
I like
Stafford.
DJ Moore, dude. I
love the solid
love
talk
him
here.
too.
Love it.
Talented.
Listen, I like DJ Moore. I just my problem with DJ Moore is it's like more Sam Darnold. I had Moore last year. He was good at times. He had a 3 or 4 week stretch where he had 90. I don't even think he broke 100 yards, but he had like 90 yards straight. He had like 5 catches for 93 yards, like 3 straight weeks, something like that. He's good. He's a good receiver, and I think he's gonna have a good season. I personally don't want him because I would rather take a chance on Julio Jones or get another running back like Gus Edwards. But in my opinion, dude, like I think you got to start Robert Woods. Like he's a safe floor. I think in a first year system with Matthew Stafford, it's just they're going to light it up. And Chicago, Chris, like you said, no Kyle Fuller this year. I think he went. Where'd he go? Denver.
Yes.
Which is a huge pickup along with Patrick Surtain. That's a huge pickup. And they just cut Desmond Trufant the other day. So, there's a lot of questions right now in Chicago's defense. They've got significantly worse in this offseason. And, I mean, honestly, their big playmakers are who? Khalil Mack, Eddie Jackson.
They're old.
I mean, Roquan Smith. Like, yeah, they got some pieces, but I don't know if I see Bobby Trees having anything less than like 8 catches for 75 yards in the tutty week 1, something along those lines. I think that as long as the Rams offense holds up, Stafford and the Rams are going to put up a 30-piece against Chicago on Sunday night.
Kyle, since we were in agreement on Tuesday with the Bucks here, I think if you are getting Tom Brady, you got to get Gronkowski. He's not going to give you consistent points, but over the course of time, he'll give you the touchdowns for the season.
Gronk is definitely going to be a touchdown dependent tight end this year for sure.
AB,
no
baby, if you're taking
mind.
Brady, you take AB.
That would be my stack.
You could definitely stack Brady with any one of the wide receivers, honestly, before Gronk. That would be my opinion.
Yo, Brady AB, man, that's like round 7 and round 9 or something like that.
Stephon Diggs, Josh Allen. That's the cream of the crop right there.
That's a good one right there, too. Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs. I got me
Kirk
some
Cousins,
Stephon Diggs in my dynasty
Justin
league. I love it.
Jefferson as well, because people don't really like Kirk Cousins for some reason, but he puts up points every year.
Kirk Cousins is a top 12 quarterback. I mean, think about it. In a 12-team league, he's a number 1 quarterback. So
I was going to touch on with Brady, Gio Bernard. Don't sleep on him as a late round running back. I know he's a little banged up right now, but he lined up in the preseason on every single one of Tom Brady's third downs. I love getting AB because, I mean, he's one of the best wide receivers of all time. And if you pair him with Tom Brady, which I did the other day in the draft where I took Lance, you still get all the points of Evans and Godwin. It's tough if it's not a best ball league because you're never going to know really which wide receiver is going to pop off. But I really like that stack, Gio and AD and Tom Brady.
Yeah, man, for sure, 100%. The Brady Brown Express train right now it's going to be booming this year. That's for sure.
What if you just took all Bucks in your hard draft? You take all the Bucks players.
I mean, you'd probably be pretty good.
they're going to the Super Bowl. They'll write it in.
You'd probably be pretty good, honestly. All right, boys. So tell me, what's the week 1 matchup you are looking forward to the most? Nick, I'll start with you.
Oh, Bucks Cowboys. I cannot wait to see the Cowboys get killed. I mean, it's just like, who wants to hear about these Cowboys? There's so much anticipation about the Cowboys with Dak being back. Brady's going to come out. The guy barely loses on opening night after they win the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl winning team usually always wins anyway. So I'm really looking forward to just seeing the Cowboys get destroyed right off the bat. And I think that's going to be really interesting.
That's all great, Nick. I have no problem with what you said, but I'm not wasting my time on the Cowboys. So with that being said, I'm going right to Sunday at 4:25 when the Kansas City Chiefs take on the Cleveland Browns. That, to me, is the game of the week. Hands down, Your Honor, no objections.
Oh, he's stealing my catchphrases. I do love that, though. To me, that could be an AFC Championship preview. Week 1 early. Don't sleep on those Brownies this year.
tough draw week 1 for the Browns. I really like them this year. That was one of my choices. I would say for me, it's Jets Carolina is a sneaky shootout game. Robbie Anderson, a revenge game. Sam Darnold, you get points tied in with CMC, and he loves the slot wide receivers dating back to his college days with Juju, Jamison Crowder, Berrios. Now it's Terrace Marshall's turn. Plus, Zach Wilson's looked great in the preseason. Elijah Moore will make his debut. Corey Davis. I think that game has a lot of potential of that post-gaze bump for weapons to go off in that game.
Now, if you got somebody like, say like the Cleveland defense on your fantasy team and you want to try to stream a defense for week 1 because you don't want to play that Cleveland defense going up against Kansas City, which is probably going to be a shootout 31-27 type game. That being said, is Carolina a possible streamer defense that week 1 against the Jets?
I would still go with the Browns personally. I don't mind games that go over to play defense. I actually do that a lot in DFS. The reason behind that is all we're looking for is sacks, turnovers, fumbles, and touchdowns. So those are the most important things for me. And in over games, a lot of times, the defense is the way that it scores. Vegas doesn't hit their prop bets on Mahomes if they score through the defense, if it's the Chiefs defense or if it's the Browns, they get the yards total under for Chubb or Hunter, something along those lines. Panthers defense is sneaky due to their addition of Horn, and I kind of think they have a sneaky D-line. Pace of play wasn't that great last year, but I think it'll be a little bit faster this year. But to answer your question, no, I would still stick with the Browns. In regular season-long leagues, you play your best guys because you never know. We're just looking for touchdown variance in that direction.
I mean, Kyle, I'm surprised, man, because I already had it planned out. I am excited for the Washington LA game. I'm very excited for it, but I got to see the game I'm really looking forward to the most, especially because the draft I had last night. I got to say, man, I'm looking forward to the most. Arizona, Tennessee, Julio Jones, new team, Julio Jones, D-Hop. We got King Henry, A.J. Brown, Kyler Murray. We got Chase Edmonds, James Conner. I think this is one of the
some big boy football stuff. This
is going to be a monster game, and I think it's going to be very high scoring. I'm excited to watch it because honestly, I want to see how this new Titans offense rolls without Arthur Smith, with Julio Jones. I mean, I don't believe in Arizona's defense. They're a bottom third defense, and I think there's going to be some fireworks. I wouldn't be surprised to see this be the highest scoring total of the week.
While you're saying to get away from the Arthur Smith offense with Tennessee, the thing is, though, is that they hired within as far as their offensive coordinator, and it was the tight ends coach, which was the same thing that Arthur Smith was before he became the offensive coordinator for the Titans after Matt LaFleur left. So we'll see how much he gets away from that type of philosophy. But I am very, very intrigued to see Julio Jones and A.J. Brown opposite each other.
So many ways to stack that game. It's going to be fun from a DFS perspective. Rondell Moore, if you fade Henry or not, so many different choices. I'm excited for that game. That was my other choice, but I'm looking forward to that one as well.
I think Henry's probably going to get at least 20 carries. I think Henry's coming out firing. I think it could be like a 30-27 type of game.
He's going to get at least 20 carries. He should have that penciled in every single game for that team.
You would think. Stop. You would think.
Period. Stop.
You would think. All right, Chris. What is your favorite futures bet of the season?
Denver Broncos win total over 8.5. I know that's shocking.
You're big on the Broncos this year.
I don't hate that. I honestly don't hate that.
I like that. I think, like I said, they have a really good opening stretch where they play against the Giants, the Jets, the Jaguars. They play against a bunch of teams that missed the playoffs last year. They get the Raiders twice, the Bengals, the Lions, and they get the Chiefs week 18. By then, they might rest their starters. I know it's probably an unpopular pick, but I think Teddy Bridgewater brings so much to the offense. I mentioned earlier, Jerry Jeudy struggled with drops last year. Drew Lock was the worst deep ball thrower in the NFL last year. 49% of his deep throws over 15 yards were uncatchable. They're not going to have any turnovers. It might be a little boring, but Teddy Bridgewater, if you wager, he covers. 74% of the time ATS he covers. So I'm in on the Broncos. I know it's a tough division, but it's an easy schedule. I'm big on Javonte Williams. They have tons. If you've been playing preseason DFS or checking out the preseason games. They've been dominating. Their defense is ridiculous. Their offensive line is improved. And I just think with, guys like KJ Hamler, Tim Patrick, Noah Fant, there's just tons of weapons on this team. They're just a quarterback away. It's tough because they didn't get Watson or Rodgers or someone along those lines, but Teddy will do for now. He'll get you over those 8 wins with that schedule that I told you about earlier.
I will say this, though, about the schedule, like you said, Kansas City being the Week 18 game, like you said, they're going to be locked up for most likely a playoff swap, maybe even home field advantage at that point. That's a big crucial factor in that 8.5 right.
One more stat I wanted to throw out about Denver. Since 2001, since they opened up the new stadium, out of 26 games, they've won 22 games and only 4 losses since 2001.
It's in September, right? In
Yes.
the month of September, they are phenomenal in that new building. That's
a great nugget there, Chris. Definitely, absolutely love.
I heard that stat a couple hours ago. That's a great little nugget there.
Nick, what's your favorite future?
Arizona Cardinals plus 650 to win the NFC West. I think it's very high on the Cardinals this year. I think the 49ers are going to suck. I think they're going to lose a lot of games once they bench Garoppolo, who's probably going to get hurt or something. I think they're going to have some issues there right off the bat because the expectations are just so high and it's not really fair for a quarterback like Trey Lance to have to step into that right away. I don't believe in Matthew Stafford, so I don't like the Rams too much. The Seahawks, I think they have a lot of issues. This could potentially be the last year of Russell Wilson in Seattle. So I'm really liking that. I'll give you one other one, and that is going to be Buffalo Bills to win the AFC.
Kyle, how you feeling?
Honestly, can we pass this off to Chris for a second, just so I could get an idea here on the FanDuel app?
All right, well, hold on. All right, here we go. Way to do your research here, Kyle. But in any case, all right, my long shot one. So, I put it out on my Instagram. I've said this, and the value is insane. I like the Browns-Rams Super Bowl matchup, which is plus 6,000, and the Rams over the Browns at plus 8,500. I've done the math on it. I've penciled it out. It is a realistic probability despite the long odds of what people think. You break down the NFC, there's 3 teams right now that are really Super Bowl capable. Packers, Bucks, and the Rams. Packers didn't really improve much. They're not much better than last year. The Bucks are great, but it's so hard to get back there, not only get back, but win it again. And if it comes down to the Bucks versus the Rams, we've seen Tampa Bay last year. They struggled against physical teams. They struggled against Chicago. They struggled against LA without Matthew Stafford with Jared Goff. And they struggled against New Orleans twice. And then they got blown out by Kansas City. But in any case, I think it's time for LA. And in the AFC, the only team that could beat the Chiefs, in my opinion, the way they're built, is the Browns. That's it. I don't think any other team is capable of beating the Chiefs in the playoffs in the AFC. The only team I would give a shot to is the Chargers, just the way they're built as well. And then I would say, honestly, I love Calvin Ridley at plus 1,000 to lead the league in receiving yards. I've said it for a while. I think he might lead the league in targets. I think 175, 180 targets is realistic. Why can't Ridley have 1,500 plus yards? Why not? He has no Julio Jones anymore. He's got Kyle Pitts, enough to take off some of the pressure. It doesn't matter if Ridley saw single or double coverage last year. He was beating it. And especially if Atlanta's playing down from behind and Matt Ryan's got to throw the ball 40 times a game. Bro, if Ridley's getting 12, 15 targets a game, why can't he end up with 1,500 plus and lead the league in receiving yards? At plus 1,000, the value is very good. Your Honor, no objections.
Kyle, you ready to go?
Yeah, it's funny that he mentioned while Cleveland was one of the ones that I did like. That I like them to be the AFC, potentially the AFC North winner this year. We'll see how Baltimore does. Rashad Bateman's going to be on the shelf right now as far as week 1, at least for the first 3 weeks, because he's going to be on IR. So he's going to possibly come back week 4. I think it's going to be more like 5 or 6. But hey, at least Sammy Watkins is there. So when he comes back, there's a 3-headed weapon there for Lamar Jackson to go to. But we don't know what Lamar Jackson is, if he can be a passing quarterback or not, because that's just not his style. As we know, that's how the offense is built, to be a run-first offense based on him. So I don't know. I just like what Cleveland has also been doing defensively. as far as just adding pieces over the offseason. And I love what they're doing in that division, and nobody really, I think, matches up to them. But like also Johnny said, I hate to be backing off of him, but I did like the Chargers at 33 to what was it, 33 to 1 or 31 to 1? It was around there, but they're plus 30 to 1, and I think that they can match up at least with the Chiefs offensively.
Yeah, we're talking a lot of good teams here, but I want to give you guys like a fun thing to watch. It's going to be a great 3-person race right down to the wire between Jameis Winston, Daniel Jones, and Sam Darnold for league leader in turnovers. So I think it's too close to call, but those are definitely 3 favorites because they all have done it at some point in their career.
I just wanted to point out, Nick, for your Arizona bet, you could even parlay that with Cliff Kingsbury, Coach of the Year, if that actually does happen, or Kyler Murray MVP. Double down.
Yeah, I'm all in on Kyler Murray MVP. That's how I ended our last show. I think the writing's on the wall. It's only a matter of time before this guy wins MVP.
And for Kyle and Johnny, you guys, if the Browns do lose to the Chiefs week 1, it's a risk, but you can wait until week 2 before they play the Houston Texans and then get better odds for them to win the Super Bowl in the North and whatnot.
You know what, man? I don't think they're going to win the Super Bowl. I'll tell you what I think is going to happen for the week 1 game. I mean, we're going to get next week more into the week 1 lines itself, but just as a little taste, I would say the Chiefs are going to win. I think the Chiefs win by like 3 points, but the Browns are going to cover. And that's like a 6-point spread right now. I mean, I haven't seen any late movement on it, but I would say it's going to be like that. Cleveland loses the battle, but they're going to win the war later in the season.
Well, 31-27 puts it at a 4-point game.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if, maybe that's the score. If that's it would work.
Like Bobby Boucher's girlfriend, that's how it's going to be.
One point about Cleveland I wanted to point out, the past 2 years have been blown out on week 1 by the Titans and the Ravens. They've lost by like 40 points each game. So I don't disagree with you, but I like Cleveland this year. I just hope that they come out strong. They had to have this game circled on the calendar since their playoff loss last year. So we're all in on Cleveland.
We're all in, baby. We're all in. They got Jadeveon Clowney now, too. So as we're wrapping up the show, we got the Gambling Guineas best betting trends. Only a little bit because I got more coming out next week. First off, to win the divisions, NFC East and AFC East. NFC East, I got to go Washington football team. Formerly, it should be the Redskins. You know what? They're plus 260. They won it last year at 7-9. And you know something? Adding Ryan Fitzpatrick to me is only a good thing because if they can win the division with Dwayne Haskins, I mean, seriously, Ryan Fitzpatrick could do way more. Now you got guys like Antonio Gibson, still got J.D. McKissick back there, Logan Thomas, added Curtis Samuel, added William Jackson to the defense, still got Terry McLaurin, one of the best defenses in football in a really bad division. I don't see why this can't happen. It's a great value. Your Honor, you know the rest. Next, we're going to jump over to the AFC East. I'm not so sold that the New England Patriots are going to win the division at this particular moment because you know something? The Buffalo Bills, as good as they are, they have holes, man. I got to see them get really improved on the defensive side of the ball, and I need them to see them run the ball successfully. They have not done that. Miami, I do like, but I just can't stand Tua. I need to see it from Tua. And Mac Jones, as much I'm not sold on a rookie quarterback, it's Josh Daniels' system. It works. Bill Belichick, they really improved. And even though Stephon Gilmore is going to miss time early, they added some good pieces. And at this value, plus 300 for New England is a strong pick for them to win the AFC East. So we have our favorite segment, normal transition here. Brought to you by Emerge Marketing Strategies, our boy Jay Hen, who we're going to have on very soon. Mr. Kyle Donnelly gives his emerging player of the night. Please grace us with your presence.
All right. So that being said, I'm going to go with a long shot here. I know that emerging star should normally be for somebody that's of high quality recently, but I'm going to go with, a guy that's in a desperate situation here in Carlos Carrasco for the New York Mets. And he's 0-2 since coming back from injury. He's got a 6.9 ERA. He's definitely not doing good. This guy is a dumpster fire right now, but I mean, look, the Mets have their back against the wall. It's put up or shut up time for them, and they need to get it done. Carrasco needs to have a big night tonight on the mound, and hopefully can turn things around for the Mets, and maybe they get on a hot streak and they get in the playoffs.
It's funny you picked him because before this show, I was playing LB the show. I pitched a one hitter with Carlos Carrasco who struck out 18 batters. So let's see if that happens.
I mean, hey, is that some foreshadowing there?
I think so. That's a fair game. So Kyle, give me your final thoughts, baby. What's your final thoughts for the day?
Final thoughts for the day is hellacious amount of rain over here in New Jersey last night. Damn, it's been crazy over here lately. I'm sure, Nick, you got some of it too out there.
Oh yes, got some flooding in my garage.
Yeah, no question about it. But that being said, I got a 12-team fantasy draft coming up this weekend. I'm very excited for. Again, football is right around the corner. College football is coming this weekend, and can't wait. Can't wait for football, baby.
Go Rutgers! I'm sorry that you didn't have to cancel any football games last night. Nobody would have. Nobody would have given you any crap for canceling during that storm for once with your fifth borough league.
What
Yeah.
do you think, Chris? What kind of final thoughts you got?
I'm just excited for football. Thank you guys for having me on the show. I really appreciate it. Definitely got to link up. And I'm going to send Kyle, when we get off the air, my rankings, my personal ones for your draft to prep you for this weekend. I got you, brother. And definitely check out my podcast. I record with my co-host, Jess Pash, at the Optimal Take. You can find us on Spotify. And I would love to have you guys on the show. Thanks for the opportunity.
Sounds great,
man. Appreciate having you on.
No problem.
If you don't mind, Chris, throw some IDPs in there too, because I gotta throw that in. I got 2 individual defensive players I gotta draft with that league.
You're a sicko with the IDPs, man.
Look, I played on the defensive side of the ball. That's my linebacker. That's my deal. I love that.
Awesome.
There's a little baby lizard running in my kitchen right now.
That's because you're in Florida with all the
they sneak in. Like I don't
all
think
the reptiles down there, dude.
Yeah, I mean, bro, he'll be dead within 5 days because he can't live like this. But it's tiny, it's annoying. I can't get him out, so I just throw a water bottle out. It's annoying. I would say, listen, my final thoughts are this. Chris, before you go, there were
no lizards harmed in the making of this show before we have PETA on our ass.
Well, hopefully they will be. But I just drafted another team last night. And again, it's just like seeing a Picasso for the first time. It really is. I mean, it's just a beautiful team. 8th pick, 12 teams, have PPR. I went Jalen Hurts, Matthew Stafford is my QBs, interchangeable strategy we talked about. Miles Sanders, Gus Edwards, Tyreek Hill, DeAndre Hopkins, Julio, Kyle Pitts, Tyler Boyd, Dolphins D, who I'm very high on this year, Daniel Carson, a kicker. Bench is AB, Ronald Jones, McKissick, Darnell Mooney, Gerald Everett, and just in case lightning strikes, Deshaun Watson.
That's a really good team.
Please tell me you took Watson with the last pick.
It's like second to last.
High on Pitts this year. I like him a lot.
Tell me you took Deshaun Watson with the very last pick.
Second to last, bro. I took him before a kicker. Like, who cares?
Okay, well, I do like the Carlson pick, though, by the way. I think that's a solid pick.
He was a top 5 kicker last year, scoring-wise. I ain't hating on it.
I got him on my roster, but I'll give you my roster when we wrap up the show because we got to get to our sponsors and everybody.
But, all right. Hey, listen, Chris, we really appreciate you taking the time. And follow him on Twitter at Burrow5th, at the Optimal Take. Also on Instagram at _5th Burrow, the Optimal Take. We're very excited. Tune in to him. He's got great info. He gave us a great nugget about the Denver Broncos. I'm sure he's got a lot more up his sleeve. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. And we'll talk soon. Tune in on Tuesday. We got Andrew Cayley from Covers talking more futures bets as well as week 1 NFL lines. Your Honor, no objections. Take it easy, guys.